be with you.
And with your spirit.
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Luke.
Glory to you.
The two disciples recounted what had taken place on the way, and how Jesus was made known to them in the breaking of bread. While they were still speaking about this, he stood in their midst and said to them, "Peace be with you." But they were startled and terrified, and thought that they were seeing a ghost. Then he said to them, "Why are you troubled? And why do questions arise in your hearts? Look at my hands and my feet, that it is I, myself. Touch me and see, because a ghost does not have flesh and bones, as you can see I have." And as he said this, he showed them his hands and his feet. While they were still incredulous for joy and were amazed, he asked them, "Have you anything here to eat?" They gave him a piece of baked fish. He took it and ate it in front of them. He said to them, "These are the words I spoke to you while I was still with you, that everything written about me in the law of Moses and in the prophets and Psalms must be fulfilled." Then he opened their minds to understand the Scriptures. And he said to them, "Thus it is written that the Christ would suffer and rise from the dead on the third day, and that repentance for the forgiveness of sins would be preached in his name to all the nations, beginning from Jerusalem. You are witnesses of all these things." The Gospel of the Lord. I just returned from a wonderful retreat in Spencer, Massachusetts, in a Trappist monastery where they keep silence, and I didn't talk all week. So I'm making up for it today. No, I can't talk too long. Bishop Roger is coming for confirmation tomorrow night, and he says, "Don't look at your watch during my sermon." He said, "You can look at your calendar. It'll still be Monday." There was these two little boys that were always getting in trouble. And the priest of the parish decided to try to talk to one of them out of love and express his concern for the boy. So he called him in, and he said to him, "Where is Jesus?" And the little boy didn't say anything. And he said a little louder, "Where is Jesus?" And he said nothing. Finally, he really said pretty loud, "Where is Jesus?" And the boy ran out of the room. And he ran home to his brother, and his brother said, "Well, what did the priest ask you?" He said, "Well, this guy Jesus is missing, and they're trying to pin it on us." Well, the little boy kind of felt guilty. He was ready to be yelled at because he had done a lot of bad things. And I think that's suitable for us who have done some bad things too. When Jesus appears after rising from the dead, he surprises his apostles, and they're terrified. Not only that they thought he was missing in action, but also that they felt guilty. And they probably could have expected him to really be upset. He might have said, "I am really angry at you guys because I spent all that time with you trying to explain the Scriptures, how I had to suffer, and you ran away. And Peter, you cut off the ear of that man. I taught you nonviolence, and you denied that you even knew me." He could have yelled at all the apostles, couldn't he? And us. But he didn't. His first word was shalom. It's a Hebrew word that means peace, but much more. It's not just like, "Well, peace, bro." It means peace, serenity, salvation, all good things in this life and afterward. It means you're forgiven. I love you. Peace be with you. Your life is going to be okay. And the disciples were so joyful that he was alive and that he was with them. It was really him. He was eating some baked fish. He was their advocate, not just their attorney who would try to get them out of their guilt, but he was the person who would accompany them, us, in our sinfulness, but loving us in spite of it. Now Peter went on to preach to the people in the first reading. And in a sense, Peter is like a recovering alcoholic. You know how they give leads? You know, my name is Father Bob, and I'm an alcoholic. And whoever gives the talk, if he walks the walk, he's been there, a lot more credibility. Well, Peter isn't just yelling at the crowd, "You put to death the author of life, you sinners." No, he's one of those responsible for the death of Jesus, as we all are. And his lead is, I made a mess of my life, and Jesus took mercy on me, and he forgave me. And I am so happy now that I can share his message and his peace. I can share his forgiveness through reconciliation. And once we've been forgiven, the next step is that we want to love others. We want to be of service, keep the commandments. Last Sunday was Divine Mercy Sunday. Maybe today we could call Shalom Sunday. And if we're at peace, then we want to share that. And we share it through service. Grateful giving, we could call next Sunday. And we have a speaker now that will kind of help us to see what that means for us.